I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For the culture, for my coast, and for my city. This is the Best Rapper in LA podcast. And I'm your host, Murs. What up, though? Yo, we're back. I don't know if this is going to make sense in the continuity of the Murs verse, but forgive me, it's Groundwave season now. If you give a fuck, it's an open mic and mentorship program. It happens in Colorado, Tulsa, and Arkansas. And we had over 100 MCs take the stage total. And I met with about 50 of them and spoke for a half an hour to an hour the day after the open mic. That's what I do for almost a living now. Why you don't see me on the road with living legends or atmosphere or anything, because I choose to use my time away from home for this, which I find a little more rewarding. Not that I don't love you guys, but I've been rapping on stage for 20 years and I think I'm excellent at performing. I don't love it. And I love working with hungry, up and coming artists. I'm a parent. You know, I'm an advisor, I guess, at home, and just now I'm just supporting young people's dreams full time at home and on the road. I like that. Gives me one state of mind to be in and one thing to work at being better at, if that makes sense to y'all. Either I'm, educating or advising or supporting. I like those roles. Coming back down the mountain, so to speak, and helping everybody get up, sending people up on their own journey. Yeah. So that's the Groundwaves, and sometimes it's going to make the podcast late, but that's just once a month for the next 6 months. And then I think Groundwaves is disappearing. If anyone out there knows any huge $1 million budgets that would like to fund this on a nationwide level so I can build out my staff and make this a nationwide thing, we have a plan, we have some ideas. If not, I'll be doing podcasting and whatever else, going back to touring, I guess. But if you can make it out to Colorado, look at Groundwaves Hip Hop on Instagram. If you make it out to Colorado, Arkansas, or Tulsa, let me know. Tulsa, it's important if you're American to go to Tulsa and see the Greenwood Rising Museum, which would inform you about the Black Wall Street race massacre that happened many years ago. It's just a phenomenal interactive museum. Aside, the story's kind of harsh, but it needs to be told. And then Arkansas, once again, has Crystal Bridges, which is the best museum I've been to on the continent of North America. And then you could come see some hip hop and meet some cool kids that make cool raps and videos and shit like that. Colorado is Denver. Come smoke weed, see a major sporting event, and come to Culture Street, which is an amazing hip hop store where they allow us to host it. If you're in the Colorado area, please support Culture Street because they allow us to host Groundwaves for free. The Colorado chapter has no funding. I fund that all myself. And people pay $5, but that just really covers the PA system. But Culture Street volunteered the venue. I volunteer my time and just trying to get the Denver hip hop scene popping. Yeah. Check out Graybeard.
I'm back, motherfuckers, like I never took a pause. These whack motherfuckers, they be shitting in their drawers when I grab a mic around them.
Check out Just, JUSTEMCEE.
Smoking mid sometimes, cause that's what it is. No need to front about the way that I live. Waiting for the paycheck coming around. But on Monday, I'll smoke what I found. Pick it up off the ground, shove it in.
A couple of our OGs. I met some more people that I'll be referring you to as the scene continues to grow. But right now, I think that's a good Mitchell James. Those are good names to start with.
I started, but I'm about to finish. I'm the man of many faces, gave a fuck from the beginning. Didn't notice competition, but you noticed that I'm winning. Got some moves that I'm designing, and we about to handle business. Who are you? What am I? I don't know the suit and tie. I'll be wearing black on black and put me in it.
Sweet Lord, sweet Lord, sweet Lord, sweet Lord.
Oh, man.
1, 2. Mas musica.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, this for real sound like
We left the intro and Nina Ross and Are You Ready? And we're gonna get into Free.
I'm free. Change the world, to change the times. I'm free. To change my life, to change my mind. I'm free. To have hope, to have new ideas. I'm free to live life without the pressure of my peers. I'm free. To make a choice, to take a chance. I'm free. To take my voice and make a stand. I'm free. And now I know why the cage bird sings. I'm free to be me, so let me do my thing. I'm free. Like a fresh out of county, no bomb. About to get some fat burger, go see my moms. Like the healthcare need to be. The fact that it ain't is just obscene to me. Free is a state of mind, a state to live. Can't be selfish, people hate to give. Love worth more than gold. But it's free, yet it's not to be bought or sold. Told I was free 1863, that's until I got clipped by the LAPD. Free to be oppressed for 400 years. Free to leave this country, free to stay right here. To make a difference, free to make change. Free to be normal while I'm free to be strange. From every mountaintop where they let freedom ring, there was freedom in the songs that my ancestors sang. I'm free. To change the world, to change the times.
I was trying to listen to it a couple times to figure out the beat. It has a hit, a stab. And I wanted to try to think of something to come with that. So I'm free.
To take my voice and make a stand. I'm free. And now I know why the cage bird sings. I'm free to be me, so let me do my thing. I'm free.
I think that's what I was hearing all those years ago. And man, bad idea. It just went back to the bad man. Bad man, like that.
Got all your girlfriends thinking that I'm the never neglected you or disrespected you. A lot of have sex, yet you say I'm the gave you dick, never fronted. Pulled your hair when you wanted. Used to flip you on your stomach, said you wanted her.
What a bad habit to get into for hooks. Still, that I was following the music makes me feel a little bit better. The music led me to go back into old habits, but it's no excuses. If the music jumped off a bridge, would I do it? I guess so. And there's no bridge in the song. There's new bridges on the new album, though. We are what I would say the try-hard generation. This is my theory with all respect. I am part of this generation. I feel like Kendrick, Drake, and Cole are the peak of the try-hard generation, where motherfuckers cared so much about rapping that they didn't like do anything else. They're just like students. And I think it got more intense when the internet came along because you don't have to buy all the albums. You could just study every album. Like Kendrick, Soul, like some of these new MCs I know like are students in their Drake, you know, where they know Little Brother and they know Tech Nine, and they just know everything about rap because they love it. And if I was the same way, I just couldn't afford to listen to everything, and I couldn't cherry pick shit. Like even if I could steal the tapes, which I was doing, I didn't have time to like listen to that. But you can just find all the best songs by every great artist instead of having to sit through the whole album and fast forward. And it's just easier now. And because things have gotten easier, MCs have gotten better. And I think that's dope. You know, it'd be whack if everything was easier and MCs sucked. But I think the try-hard generation forced or created mumble rap. And for me, I was a try-hard, but also the dope MCs in my era became movie stars. Ice-T, Ice Cube, LL Cool J all became movie stars. It kind of created room for the next king of rapping, the next try-hard to become the lyrical god. But then you had Eminem and Jay-Z who kind of just sat there. They didn't do shit else but just be great. Even Wayne, just like great. And then if you're a kid coming up under that, or Kendrick or Cole, you're like, man, or Drake, you're like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna go for a vibe. That's easier. And I met a young man who was telling me like his father was so awesome that he just became a knucklehead because it's like, I'm never gonna live up to this great guy, so fuck it. And I think some people feel that way. It's just my theory. But this is me. This is a try-hard rap. Back to I'm free. I'm rapping way too aggressively. I also learned that I have a fan base. My brand doesn't make room for in a lot of this, I feel, I can't find the exact MC, but I feel like there's a little bit of common in here. Communism, where he uses the prefix, however you say it. Prefix.
Instead of competing with Pete, compromise, made a promise not to commercialize, but compound the soul with other elements. Compelling sense in the communism.
Of compromise, made a promise not to commercialize or compound the soul. How'd that work out? Now he does commercials, but anyway, that's great. But
Look at that new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Why don't I have one? You need to go to T-Mobile, where new and existing customers can get iPhone 15 Pro on them. I do need to switch to T-Mobile.
It's just funny your thoughts as a young person, as you become a man, how you contradict yourself if you allow yourself to grow. Not a bad thing. But so I'm like free to change my mind, free to,
I'm free to change my life, to change my mind. I'm free to have hope, to have new ideas. I'm free to live life without the pressure of my peers. I'm free.
So I'm playing off the free words. So I know that was definitely common, inspired, and it's conscious, kind of like woke, positive rap. And I don't really feel like people will say that I'm a positive rapper or a conscious rapper. I don't think I really am. I'm not a negative rapper, if that makes sense. Because when I try to do, especially things related to being pro-black or woke, those songs never, ever, I don't say never, ever, but rarely do they resonate. I'm supposed to rap about girls, I can rap about rap, and I can rap about quirky shit. But, like pussy and pizza.
Love, money, music, and my mama. Stay away from douchebags and the drama. Need a check with at least 3 commas. Give me pussy and some pizza and there won't be no problems. Love, money, music, and my mama.
Okie dog.
Once upon a time there was a one-man gang who never ran from anyone or sold cocaine. OGs in the city all knew his name. So here's a little story about the gang that he claimed.
Like stories, even though motherfuckers still won't give you my storytelling props, I'm still mad about that after last week. I'm uncovering that anger and working through it. But this is like a woke rap, and I could definitely see how it wasn't received well. Well, this album really didn't go anywhere, but I think this would have been a dud on the album regardless. I can only talk about the new album because that's all I got left. But definitely, I took some notes from Lil Yachty and not so much Travis Scott, but just because Travis Scott's intense. But I've been loving Yachty and BFB to Pac-Man. Like, it's just simple, fun, loose, just saying raps instead of spitting.
I'm super healthy, mixing syrup with the jammer juice. You ever got hair from a fiend that was snag a tooth? Home Depot, when we slide down, we burn them hammer stew. Chopper with a knife, it'll slice a nigga cabbage loose. Before I trick with a bitch, I'll wear a condom. I hate to eat fruit, my diet bad, so she hate to swallow. I'm really fucked up, they put gin in my baby bottle. My brother, if he catch another body, I'ma tell my mama. Fire top, lockjaw, had to grab a bed. She like perk dick when we fucking, let me grab my meds.
And so I got a couple songs like that. I got songs where I'm spitting. And I let a homie hear it, and he's a spitter, and he's the first spitter that's heard the record. And of course, he didn't like any of the laid back delivery. So it's going to be interesting to see how people respond to the album, because I am in a space where I like the songs where I'm not spitting. Songs that even have some bars in it, but I'm not trying hard to deliver them. And that's what I love. Like Yachty, I slept on for a while because he's just so nonchalant, but there's some bars. Yachty has some bars, man.
Got me a pick, stepping on shit with my foot in the brick.
Kick a bitch to the curb, but she don't speak with manners. My house sit alone behind gates by the manor. My nose look whiter than garbage, named Tanner. My bitch from the hood, mama's house sit on Canla. Old school from the 70s, could have been dropped by the first line of Sanford. My boy that was English like City of Oxford. Just finesse some pussy, I need me an Oscar. I thought I won't kiss till I sat by a toddler. Recorded 2 hits in 1 hour at Doppler. I walk around my house naked.
BFB to Pac-Man's hilarious. Just fun. And I love the Try Hard generation gave birth to the vibe, swaggy, Tyler's type shit. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm free to change the world, to change the times. I'm free to change my life, to change my mind. I'm free to have hope, to have new ideas. I'm free to live life without the pressure of my peers. I'm free to make a choice, to take a chance. I'm free to take my voice and make a stand. I'm free. And now I know why the cage bird sings. I'm free to be me, so let me do my thing. I'm free. Like I'm fresh out of county, no bomb. About to get some fat burger, go see my moms. Like the healthcare need to be. The fact that it ain't is just obscene to me. Free is a state of mind, a state to live.
Hook is horrible. Free, like I'm fresh out of county, no bomb. About to get some fat burger, go see my mom's. When I went to jail in Inglewood, that's all I could think about was like just giving my mama a hug and getting some fucking fat burger.
Give me that fat burger tonight. Did you know that you can enjoy a wonderful fat burger almost anytime, day or night? I want a man with a fat burger in his hand.
When you're doing small time, when you have a list like, I'm going to jail for a weekend, or those are things you think about. If you do some serious time, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about a lot of other things, from my experience talking to people who have done that. But for me, I was like, oh, this is dope. Two, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go highlights of this one. I could go through, it'd be painful to go through lyric by lyric, but we're going to do that on 2 songs this episode and see those of you who actually respond to the podcast, just let me know what you're enjoying better. Highlights or going bar for bar. And this will be the test. Please DM me or hit me up on Patreon. You can message me direct on Patreon, by the way.
Told I was free 1863, that's until I got clipped by the LAPD. Free to be oppressed for 400 years, free to leave this country, free to stay right here. To make a difference, free to make change, free to be normal while I'm free to be strange. From every mountaintop where they let freedom ring, there was freedom in the songs that my ancestors sang. I'm free.
Told I was free 1863, that's until I got clipped by the LAPD, still playing off the start of the verse with fresh out of county. Ancestors, like mentioning ancestors, that wasn't common in rap. You know what I'm saying? I was the first person to put ancestors in rap, but now ancestors are all over the internet. Our ancestors. But this is 06. Like mentioning ancestors is fucking super rare. Free like the healthcare needs to be. It's still like a very early conversation before Obamacare. I think before Obama was even in office still. Because I mentioned him, yes, way before Obama was in office. I just read whatever the fucking father book is, his first book.
Like the healthcare need to be. The fact that it ain't is just obscene to me. Free is a state of mind, a state to live.
Towards the end of the song, I'm just talking about free like the love, like the blood of Jesus. Free like the love the Quran teaches. Ali, you tell me I'm not saying it correctly, but
like my style was in 93. Now there's a whole bunch of dudes trying to rhyme like me. Work hard, young man, homie, grind like me, and you can be whatever you wanna be. Like the blood, like the love of Jesus. Like the love that the Quran teaches.
Yeah, man, if you haven't heard Love and Service by Brother Ali, please go do that.
Push them up on platforms, build them up and clap for them. Ego get attached to them. If they're expected to do good on our behalf, warn them about that ticking clock. When that good opinion stops and the hyenas lick their chops, you're ugly displayed in public. Secular day of judgment. They pick a spot to watch a fallen saint plummet. They love it.
You don't have to be Muslim to enjoy it and love it. You just have to care. I mentor a young man that's 26 years old, white man, who's a battle rapper and a yoga instructor. And he just brought it up to me like, man, I love that, you know, he's like talking about the beef that's going on. He's like, it's cool as a battle rapper. Like, even as a battle rapper, I'm kind of over it right now, but I just wish we had more albums like Brother Ali's album.
Here's to the woke and weary, with all that hope and fury, spoken by a broken poet, torn and teary. If I breathe it so sincerely, am I taking up too much space to propose a theory? I hope y'all hear me. What if all this judgment is a force field to cover up the love?
Free to love this country, free to stay right here is another line that speaks to philosophy, and I never understood how people can be so pro Fidel Cuba, for instance, and then not go live there.
Free to be oppressed for 400 years, free to leave this country, free to stay right here. To make a difference, free to make change, free to be normal while I'm free to be strange. From every mountaintop where they let freedom ring, there was freedom in the songs that my ancestors sang. I'm free.
The beauty of America is that you can leave. A lot of these places that some leftists fantasize about or love could use the infusion of your cash, could use your hands and beautiful mind. Why not live there? Why force a large country of 300 million individuals? Let's just say there's 10% of the nation agrees with you. Why should we live like the other, like the 10% if 90% of the people don't want that? I don't believe America has the most fertile land. I don't believe America is the best place to live, especially if you feel that way. It's a good place to live, and I love it, you know, for what it is. But like the true meaning of love, like you love a person completely with all their flaws, because it's all I got. To me, because I've been other places, and I'm like, I am too American and lazy and comfort driven to leave. At this age, this is what I was feeling. I'm happy where I am, and if you're not happy where you are, and you feel like So, and one thing to not be happy where you are and find a way to be happy. There's another way to be unhappy with the way things are and the way you are, and then spending your life pushing against the majority when you're, if you love the way shit is in let's just say fucking Antigua, which is an island, like if you love life on Antigua, why are you trying to make life in America like life in Antigua when you have the means, the freedom, and the heart? It's so much in your heart to move there. Just go live there. I don't get it. Even if you're right and it would be a better way of living, why try to convince 300 million other people that what you're saying is right? If they don't want to listen, go and live your life and be happy. Figure out how to convince more people that that's the right thing to do by moving them there, because I feel like it would make that country's economy strong. I'm open to debate on this. Like, what is the nuance? But really, when you talk about it, I'm like, just go live there, bro. And I know people who have done so. Like, the expat community is growing tremendously, especially after COVID, and I respect that. I might be one of y'all motherfuckers, but what I'm not going to do is talk shit and then collect my check or sign to a major, like people talking that shit on a major label. I'm like, what the fuck are you even saying, bro? It's so weird. So I struggle with that, but that's my thing. Like, free to leave this country, free to stay right here is a true freedom, because there are people dying to get to America, and or people wishing, I don't know too many people who want to leave America and can't. And if there's a fund for that, I think that's something worthy of donating to. Because if anyone wants to leave and the only thing stopping them is them buying a plane ticket or whatever, let me help you. Because I understand why you want to leave. And if you can't take it anymore, I get it. But the people who have the means and the mind and don't, and want to argue on the internet all day or make records about how much they hate this place, I don't fucking get it, man. I never did. Next line is, government came to my hood with free guns.
The government came to my hood with free guns. Got us all scared, now I'm thinking I need one. But I'm free from fear, and if you already free, then let me hear you say yeah.
It's based on a documentary I saw in high school where they were interviewing gang members, and they were talking about, it was really fresh too, because it was like 90, it had to be 94, when they were talking about some footage from the 92 riots. And OG gang members at the time were saying how, like in Watts, the train tracks are near the projects, and they'll pull up, and then the train cars would break down. I'd use bunny ears, quotes, air quotes. And there'd be ammunition and the corresponding weapons to the ammunition, or the weapons and the corresponding ammunition in the adjacent train car.
I heard from an OG that they used to find barrels of guns along the train tracks.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, Uzis, like fully automatic guns, bro, like just sitting there for people to find. Little kids in the ghetto throwing rocks on the train tracks, what they do, stumble across a whole barrel of guns.
So you think the government left them there? Have you heard of any such thing? Mm-hmm. In Long Beach?
Not in Long Beach, but Watts, Compton. Yeah, they bring a train out there just full of guns, and
just have at it.
People just hit the train, and next thing you know, you'll hear some hood somewhere, selling, new nines for 300. You know what I'm saying? Or they got AKs over here for 700, and just like, it was always mysterious crates of weapons popping up throughout the ghetto.
They knew there was rivalry going on, but there wasn't enough guns for people to kill enough people, because everybody's still dealing with 38 specials and revolvers. So how do automatics get there? Like, you can't, if you live in Los Angeles, the nearest gun store where you could buy an automatic weapon, and then having the funds to acquire one, and then to have the record clean enough to acquire one, in California after the Black Panthers. We were the Wild Wild West. People forget that. Until the Black Panthers marched on the Capitol with rifles, and then I believe it's Ronald Reagan changed the gun laws.
In California, gun control legislation was aimed at preventing groups like the Black Panthers from arming themselves against police. In response, 30 armed Black Panthers marched on the state capitol to protest the legislation in 1967. Not long after, then-Governor Ronald Reagan signed the Mulford Act, prohibiting open carry of weapons in public places. The following year saw the Gun Control Act of 1968, signed by the then-President Richard Nixon. The law banned Saturday night specials, which were the cheaply made handguns associated with crime in minority groups, meaning black communities. Both of these laws were passed by Republicans and supported by the National Rifle Association, one of the most powerful anti-regulation gun lobbies in the USA. The organisation continues to advocate for gun owners, though many have criticised the NRA for failing to speak for armed African Americans.
Arizona, which is a still open carry state and crazy. But the funny thing is, that's where to me the Second Amendment people. I've lived in Arizona. They have their you don't have a lot of the bullshit drive-by shootings, all the shit that we have here. You don't have that in Arizona for multiple reasons. But one of them, if you want to argue that it's because it's an open carry state, that could be argued. I could argue that it's not the same concentration of oppressed people of color. And there's also larger criminal organizations that work in a border town that keep the streets kind of calm so they can do their real business. But this is where I don't argue with the Second Amendment people, because on the surface, it looks like, yeah, you have more guns, you have open carry laws, nobody acts up. In California, those didn't exist anymore. So how are you going to get, let's just say there is a plot by the CIA and FBI to stir up trouble amongst the inner city gangs. You say you don't subscribe to that. All I can say, it's a theory. It's pretty sound theory. But how do you get them guns? Oops, the train broke down and there's guns and ammunition in every car. Oops. And these are grown men. To me, the documentary seemed to sound mind and body, and it makes sense because I don't know how else the guns got here. They could have came with people, but when I talk to OGs like I know that were bringing in lots of weight 30, 40 years ago, they never mentioned that they were bringing in lots of guns with it, because that's, as I told you, when you have large drug businesses like Arizona and border towns, violence is bad for fucking business. My big homies, a couple of OGs I talked to that were back there, they still stand on that. They are not for gang violence. They want to do Crip and Blood community events in schools, because now they're just businessmen and they know that the more educated the community is, the more dollars can circulate, and the more, the safer things are, more people are outside spending money. In their case, it was spending money on drugs. But government came to my hood with free guns. That one line came from that. Shout out to Mr. Kaplan, who, rest in peace, he was a teacher, a white teacher, who showed that documentary to a room full of black children, or not full of black children, but a room of black and brown children, and a couple Jewish. I don't know if we had any just regular quote unquote white people at my high school. There had to be a couple, but he was a regular white guy and with red hair, and he used hip hop to teach back in 1994. And he used this documentary, this new cutting edge documentary, talking about how the CIA, somebody, I don't think it was like they said an organization, but demonstrating how someone was tampering with the truce of 9 Deuce, as we say. Like a Blood and a Crip looking at a photo from the Peace Summit and being like, we didn't know that guy and we didn't know that guy. The Blood's like, we don't know who Blood is, and Crip's like, we don't know who Cuz is. And they're the ones that started the fight at the Peace Summit. And they were black. So people thinking that when we say CIA or FBI, we just mean white people. No. There are people inside of these organizations of all nationalities, ethnicities, and I'm sure sexual orientations, or whatever you call it. They will use your own to destroy your own. And so walking my kids through our neighborhood during COVID, we did a lot of walks. And there's a lady who has one of those neighborhood libraries. So my kids would check that out. They have animals. We're vegan kids who are scared of dogs and cats, but we still are fascinated by them. I say we because I'm the only one that's not in my family. We love animals, but we fear them. Maybe if we ate them, we'd be less afraid of them. Maybe if we ate more cats and dogs. Just kidding. But a nice black woman comes out and we start talking, and then she says her last name, and I'm like, oh shit. I had a teacher named Mr. Cap. Something like that happens. We find out that she was his wife, and she tells me he passed away. And I'm like, this man changed my life. Like, he introduced me to people's history of the United States. He introduced me to how hip-hop, or he validated hip-hop from a scholastic level, which did wonders for me, and accepted when I would write my papers about rap and reference rap. She was a black woman sent in by a paper in Los Angeles because black parents were complaining about what Mr. Kaplan was teaching us. Black parents. So she went in to do an expose and expose this radical, entitled, whatever, teacher, and fell in love with him and got married. And I just met her walking down the street with my kids. And I was like, that man changed my fucking life and changed a lot of lives and did a lot of great. things, for me at least. And to me, I've been able to, like, even I was a very pro-black child, like meeting a white man that was really, quote unquote, what you would call woke now, having hard conversations, battling like white guilt, like it's, like it's not all on white people. Like you guys do, not you guys, but like black people do this and do this. Like it was just and me debating and him listening and moving and about just meeting someone that was educated and willing to listen and willing to teach in a way that was received. I don't say that we ever settled on anything. Like it was a moving, evolving, living, breathing conversation with an elder from what I thought was the other side. And I met lots of the faculty at that school that were white, black, whatever, that were willing to engage in ways that forever changed me. And he was one of them. I don't say lots. I met a couple. Exaggerate, but it was so impactful that I'm grateful for those that did. I don't know what the name of that documentary is. I look for it often, but yeah, probably not wanting to be found. But I saw it, and there are hundreds of kids that went to Hamilton High School that saw it, and it left a stain on me, even so much so that 10 years later, I'm still rapping about it on the song. And then government came with free guns, got us all scared. Now I'm thinking I need one, because once you put one gun in the streets in the hands on the other side, then you need to be equipped because they have one. Why don't you have one? And I kind of let go of that somewhere along. I read a CeeLo interview, or was it a Big Boy interview? It was just like, I don't care. If somebody wants something enough, I'll just let them have it. I can get another one. And something like I would rather die than kill another black man. And I just understood that. And this is post Walk Like a Man. I understand that even more. Because now I've had the opportunity, I've owned the gun, I've had the drop on people and just chose not to. People that I have seen their children, and I'm like, man, you might not exist. Like seeing children that might not exist if I chose to do something that I had the weapon and the address and the anger to do so, and making the decision not to, and having that child tell me they're a fan of my work years later, I can't even describe to you how like scary and just like, oh shit, I really made the right decision. This is an awesome kid. This kid wouldn't exist had I let my anger and the access to firearms and 50 cent, or less bullets, for less than 50 cent, I could have erased you from existence. You would have never existed. And you have a lot going for you. You are already impacting other lives. I think if we can explain that to people and then like zoom them out and like, yo, there are humans that won't even exist that could do great things. This kid that I met, that I found out who his father was like a teacher in a youth program. I'm asking him, can my organization work with your organization? Oh yeah, you're from where, blah, blah, blah. You grew up where? Oh, your dad, who's your dad? And in my head, I'm like, oh shit. How old are you? And you start doing math and you're like, oh shit. That is where you think like it's fear. And I argue this with my gun loving friends. That's fine. Like, I'm just not that scared. But as I have children, I am a little more fearful and thinking, do I need to protect them? But at this point in my life when I'm rapping, I'm like, I'm just not like Biggie, but I'm ready to die. Like if it comes down to that, I don't want to kill anybody else, especially not another person of color, another black person. That just doesn't make sense to me because we're all struggling. And for someone white, you don't really maybe understand the thing. I'm black. I don't understand what you're carrying. I don't understand but for me, I can say as a black man, life is fucking hard in America. And my belief is that it's harder than a lot of other Americans. But when I see battles or what, like anything, when I see gang violence, when I see black men especially, is black people not being kind to one another, when we know what the fuck we're going through, it angers me and baffles me. And I get over the anger and I'm just sad about it. And then I laugh and I gotta let it go. So I walk through the airport constantly because you see black people, I try to wave, especially, I try to smile at everybody, but black people, when I'm in Arkansas and I see a black person, I light up because I haven't seen a black person often. I counted 1 or 2 in the airport when I landed in Arkansas this week. And none of them wanted to wave or speak. And I just, no, one lady was really, she was happy to see me like I was happy to see her. She was greeting everybody, and then she like, yo, it's a feeling, man. So when I moved to Tucson and I see like, we're going to fucking, I think I was buying a new Madden or something like that, 2K, something like that, something very young and generation, whatever the X, generation, Gen Y, hip hop generation to do, getting a new fucking sports ball game to play. And man had a Desert Eagle, bro, in Target. Overweight, redneck looking dude with a little fucking duck camouflage gear on. My ex-wife had to like tell me like chill, because I was like, oh, I feel real safe knowing that this fucking under-exercised, malnourished, I think you could still be malnourished or overnourished. What is it when you're obese? This obese motherfucker has a fucking hand cannon with me and you know, my children in a fucking Target. For what, bro? Are you that scared? And that's when I get to the point, like, trust me, if it goes down, like, you've never seen, like, bullets fly by your ear. You haven't seen nobody shot. You haven't seen nobody's head blown off. All that shooting refrigerators out in the fucking desert is way different when motherfuckers are shooting back. Or you gotta get up on a motherfucker. Like, it's just, maybe it's like everyone says, like, oh, your training kicks in. It's just muscle memory. Maybe. But, to me, it just says that you're scared, and that I need to be cautious around someone who is scared enough to take a Desert Eagle to Target. Just like I need to be cautious around and watch how I talk to motherfuckers that are going to a party they're going to play loud rap music, and they're beautiful women, and there's alcohol and good music and beautiful women to dance with, and you're concerned with what another man's doing with his fingers or the initials he's allied with or what's tattooed on his body, so you can fuck up the fun for everyone else and murder someone in a fucking nightclub or someone's backyard party or a fucking driveway. I just had another argument with somebody. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch how I talk to that motherfucker, because he's very scared or very hurt or very crazy. And it goes across all socioeconomic lines. There are some rich people that are very scared and well armed. Like, to me, that's what it says. You're angry, you're hurt, or you're scared. And I can't live like that every day. Because we all got it. The thing too is like, what are you seeing? Like, we all got to go out this motherfucker. I'm scared that I won't be able to provide for my children, or they won't be able to deal with the trauma of the life without me. I don't want to inflict that on anyone else. So my life has become a little more valuable. But before that, I'm like, man, we all got to die. I don't know if I can live with myself if I kill you. It's not that I'm scared to kill you. Am I more scared of killing you, or I'm more scared of dying? Which I can live my whole life without killing anyone. I cannot live my whole life without dying. That's kind of just where I was at with it, at this point in my life. And I was right. Like, when I met that kid, I'm like, wow, bro. I can definitely live my whole life without killing anyone, but you cannot live your whole life without dying. And that's the beautiful thing and the scary thing. That's the scary thing. Like, what do you want to die for? Do you want to die for fucking big gulps and fucking Hostess cupcakes? Do you want to die for freeing Palestine? Do you want to die for what? You know, it's just like, man, I want to focus on what I want to live for. And that's kind of saying like being free. Another line of songs like I'm free to be a whole lot more than black. Like, that's projecting, hoping, you know, that one day I can go somewhere and not be a negative stereotype before I fucking open my mouth. Watch how I move first. Watch how, you know, before you not smile at me, before you cross the street, you know, like traveling to places like Oklahoma or especially Northwest Arkansas is crazy, man. It's fucking wild. I'm like, you think that you're better than me, and like, you don't know that I've been to 27 countries. You don't know that I've fostered and adopted children. You don't know that I'm in your city to work with black, white, queer, brown youth and empower them and give them a voice to tell your story from your community. These things, I hope that I can be free to be a lot more than just a black person you see and are instantly scared, and free, you know, free to be black enough where like, I don't assume every white person I meet is Jim Carrey or Tom Brady. Like, there is a vast spectrum of whiteness allowed in America. But no matter how I'm dressed, because I'm black, you know, I would at least like hopefully we can educate Americans. Like, okay, this is a black guy in a pink T-shirt and white running shoes. Probably not a criminal. You know what I mean? Like, no tattoos on his face. Like can we just get to if we're gonna stereotype, can we be at least better at it? Is my thing. Like, instead of just being you're black, you're scary. And black people do a lot to reinforce negative stereotypes. After this, I try not to make songs like that. So that's what the Free is about.
Can't arrest my development, I'm free like speeches. Like a genie, fresh out the bottle. When these MCs is free not to be role models in me. Well, I'm free to be one, free to fix a problem wherever I see one. The government came to my hood with free guns, got us all scared, now I'm thinking I need one. But I'm free from fear, and if you already free, then let me hear you say yeah.
I'm not in a rush, man. Hopefully y'all are still enjoying the podcast. When they're just about one song, to be short, but this song kind of involved lots of other things. I try to go on tangents, but now it's a concise episode just about I'm free. And this podcast is free. But if you want to support, please do. Check the link. If you enjoy this podcast, you can join Patreon to support it. That's obvious. We've said that. Like and review it. Give it some stars. But I think we're up to about over 2,000 weekly listeners. So we're growing. Tell someone about it. Shout out to Nate, 19-year-old in Arkansas, who's listening to the podcast now, who I don't think grew up with my music. It'd be impossible. Some of these songs are older than him, but enjoys it. So maybe people will enjoy it even if they're not familiar with my music. Peace. Peace. Every single one of these podcasts is brought to you by Logitech G. If you are going to buy any headphones, microphones, cameras, lights for your streaming or earbuds, the G Fits, what I use when I do use wireless technology for my ears. I use the G Fits by Logitech G. They're fucking awesome. They have an app where you could fucking sculpt the sound to your light. It's dope. And they support this podcast. It's one of my sponsors. And if you want to buy anyone a gift or you have a gaming kit at home, the fucking Logitech G, or formerly known as Astro headphones, the 810s are perfect. Use the link in the bio so that the podcast gets a little credit and they know that I'm out here doing my job. Yeah, Logitech G for all your studio needs. Even some of the songs on the new album were recorded on this very mic. We like it. We like how it sounds. Me and my producer. So some of them are on an expensive mic and some on this mic because this mic is fucking good. Logitech is doing a great job. Thanks for listening to the Best Rapper in LA podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. If you like the show, leave a review on Apple Music or Spotify. And to support the podcast directly, go to patreon.com/MURS316, Murs316. See y'all next week. Peace. Peace.